So my name's Andrew Smooker. I'm an agronomy manager with BASF. Work as part of an East and Central team, and I cover mainly Cambridgeshire, but support up into Lincolnshire, and obviously we're here today on the Lincolnshire wolds. There is potentially high disease pressure. Generally, crops went in very well. Seed beds were good this year. Despite obviously the back end of last season being very dry finish to the season. So yeah, there's a lot of good potential for crops. There's a suggestion that on average drilling date was a little bit further forward this year, so a few more in September, possibly a week to 10 days, but it's highly variable, quite localised depending on people's specific circumstances. But yeah, that earlier drilling combined with some of the milder spells we've had over the winter could certainly contribute to higher disease risk. So there was many challenges last season, but certainly many positives as well, and I think a lot of farms were pleased with yields last year. Yields generally good, even and in trials, untreated yields good, and a good response to fungicides as well. This year, obviously, grain price was particularly good last season as well, which added to the positivity. Obviously, there's some variability on that this year, so it's price and input costs are a movable feast. But generally, crops have gone in well, progressed well through the winter, so there's all to play for. And obviously, we launched the Luximo herbicide, big blockbuster product launch of a herbicide in the autumn, and the feedback we're getting from that is very positive on often used in very high pressure blackgrass situations, and looking very positive. So crops seem to have got off to a good start this year. So naturally, input costs are a big consideration. People looking to optimise as much as they can. A lot of volatility on prices and costs, so grain prices, input costs at the moment. But we saw very clearly from last year, a lot of growers very happy with their yields. There's good potential to go at, so it's there's still a lot of profitability out there across crops for this year, but naturally anything we can do to optimise those inputs, where people are having a look at different nitrogen rates. We've seen very good responses with the work we've done with looking at fungicide and nitrogen interactions to show that you can optimise your outputs as much as possible with your fungicide application in relationship with your nitrogen. So septoria really is always a risk. Really, I don't think this season's any different. It's there's always a very high chance you're going to find something, obviously not always visible at the time, but our sampling work over the years has shown that there can be latent infection there as well. So it's good practice to try and be protectant in your strategies with against that or any disease. But we know that very often crops are in a curative situation as well. So even if you get your timing spot on, you can still be a big requirement for some curative activity. So really, just optimising the fungicide program and using a product like Revastar, where you've got very strong across the board, both protectant and curative activity, provides good cover for that disease.
BASF. We create chemistry.